Hello all. So today I'm talking about some causes if you have a car and it starts up but it don't move, you put it in gear and it doesn't want to move, it doesn't drive. I'm just going to go over some of the causes and fixes for this. The number one cause is going to be that the automatic transmission fluid is low in the transmission. And so this is the first thing to do, is to go out and check and see if the transmission fluid is low. It can vary on car to car exactly how you do it. Sometimes they'll be able to be checked cold, sometimes they'll need to be warmed up, sometimes they'll need to be in park, sometimes in drive to get it correct, but you should see some kind of fluid in there. And if you don't see any fluid on it at all, then there's an issue. So the first thing to do is go pop the hood, find the dipstick to the transmission, pull it out, clean it, put it back in, and pull it out again, look at it, and be sure that there's some kind of transmission fluid on there. Even if it doesn't match the lines that it has on there, there should be like at least a little bit up to a certain level. If there's nothing in there at all, then there's an issue and it needs more transmission fluid to be added. So if it is low on transmission fluid, Google your car. There's different transmission fluid types, so you want to get the correct type. Google exactly how you check the fluid, since sometimes the car needs to be warmed up. It just varies a little bit, and add in the correct amount. And that is the number one problem for a car that starts and it won't move. And that's a common issue. And so if you check the transmission fluid and that all checks out good, then the next thing is that you could have possibly some bad linkage. When you go to shift, there's linkage that moves levers, that moves the gears into place. And if the linkage comes off or gets loose or is just messed up for whatever reason, binding up or anything, then it can cause it not to go into gear all the way, and then the transmission won't be able to engage. So feel the shifter and feel like if it's loose or if there's something wrong inside of there. And if there is, you could get underneath the car and you could look and see and check out the shift linkage and be sure that it all looks good. But that would be the second thing to check, would be the gear linkage. And the next thing is that there might be possibly a broken axle. Of course, if this happens, you likely would hear it. But if the CV axle or the axle going to the rear of the car has a U-joint that goes bad or something like this, and it shears off or just becomes damaged, then it's not going to be able to transfer the power from the transmission to the tires. And so you very likely would have heard a loud noise if this happened. It is a possibility, and it does happen occasionally, although not that common. It does happen once in a while. And so the next thing to check would be to see if you have a CV axle or a drive shaft that broke. And the final thing on the list is going to be that the transmission just failed. If the gears inside the transmission go bad, or things along these lines, then they can cause issues, and the whole thing could just stop working. And when you go to put it into gear, it just won't move. Now, at this point, you want to get a professional opinion to be sure that's what it is, since transmissions can be expensive to swap out, and the labor and the parts, it's not a cheap thing to change out. So be sure to get a professional opinion on that. But that would be the last thing to check, would be that the transmission has just failed. And so that's basically it. I just wanted to go over some of the main causes and fixes if you have a car that starts and it won't move. If you have anything to add, please comment down below. If you have any questions, ask me and I'll try to answer them. If this video helped you, please click like, please click subscribe, and have a good day.